Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
The pandemic has hit new heights in Tasmania with a record number of COVID cases registered, as well as another death. There are concerns about the stretch on our health system, with a 400 worker shortfall being made worse by staff forced to isolate.
A record caseload reaching concerning heights.
It is concerning. We've got significant disruptions to our schools, to our community, to our economy.
2,324 infections were recorded in the state overnight. Active cases are now above 11,000, while a man in his 80s became the 30th Tasmanian to die since the pandemic began.
What will it take for the government to do what they need to do to cut the number of cases? They have to bring back in universal mask wearing protections.
But as COVID bears its teeth across the state, it's biting the LGH hardest. 143 staff in total are absent due to COVID, while exemptions for close contacts to return to work are proving less effective.
With the numbers of school children affected, we are seeing a cohort of our workforce that are having to stay home to care for school-aged children.
There are currently 400 vacancies for nurses, midwives and mental health professionals in Tasmanian hospitals as recruitment efforts stall. 10 months ago, new Health Minister Jeremy Rockliff said he was open to increasing pay to attract health staff. However, there's been nothing since, and the ANMF has taken the government to the Tasmanian Industrial Commission over inadequate staffing and unreasonable workloads.
So we've been advised by the department that the COVID escalation levels are being reviewed. We've put on the table that we want to see more detailed, transparent triggers around workforce and workloads for our members.
Meanwhile, Ambulance Tasmania is dealing with the fallout of a catastrophic internal survey in which paramedics labelled management the greatest threat to their safety.
Which did point to a need to improve supports and culture in a workplace environment.
Tasmania's elective surgery waiting list stands at 9,906 people. Labor says it won't be cleared until recruitment challenges are solved.
It's all very well to have beds, to have hospitals and to have resources on the ground, but you need the staff to provide those services.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are avoiding a trip to the dentist as cost of living pressures pinch the purse strings of working families. It's hoped a new pool of graduates will bring down the wait list to improve health outcomes for people across the state.
A visit to the dentist can leave a sour taste in the mouth of many Tasmanians. 15,000 people are waiting for an appointment, but 11 new graduates could help bite a chunk off the wait list.
And sometimes they've been waiting years, so for us to be able to get more people in and give them care and help with prevention, then hopefully they need less emergency care and so it goes.
The state's peak body for social services says the cost of dental care in Tasmania has risen 25% in the past decade.
Poor oral health is an absolute badge of poverty for many thousands of Tasmanians who see going to the dentist as a luxury. You know, they put off going to the dentist because they simply can't afford it.
The state government has committed $5 million to deliver 20,000 new appointments.
People will receive their oral health care in a more timely manner.
But just half of those will be delivered by December this year.
We're seeing Tasmanians choose to have their teeth removed rather than have a long wait or have to pay a lot of money to have the dental care that they need.
Tascos says Tasmanians are spending more of their income on bills and essential items than ever and would like to see some long-term measures implemented in tonight's federal budget to help ease the overall cost of living.
We need to see the federal government commit to raising the rate of job seeker to at least $70 a day so that people are able to afford the basics.
Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
A motorcyclist has died in a crash on the Tasman Highway this afternoon. Crews were called to Goshen around midday with the highway closed for several hours. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Fuel distribution companies say they're dealing with a logistical nightmare due to the tugboat mishap in the northwest in January. Trucks are lining up for hours at Bell Bay and Burnie to refuel, with the salvage operation at the Port of Devonport still weeks away.
The Port of Devonport receives almost 30 million litres of fuel a month.
It supplies 35% of the state with liquid fuels.
But for the past 2 months, it has come to a standstill after cement carrier Goliath crashed into 2 stationary tugboats, causing both to sink. Tas Petroleum General Manager Nathan Thurlow says the port's restrictions are placing stress on operations.
Our trucks, both north and northwest, have now been diverted to Bell Bay or Burnie. These terminals as such aren't set up for the amount of trucks that are being put through them at the moment, so it's wait times is something that we've had to deal with.
Some drivers are waiting up to 4 hours to fill up. Bonnie Energy, who supplies Ampol, is in the same boat.
We're seeing that wait times have gone up at some of the terminals, so some of the delays that we've seen have been higher than they otherwise would be.
Fortunately for customers, the fuel companies are absorbing the extra costs.
Even though we're incurring some additional costs at the moment, we haven't needed to pass those through. We are seeing that there's been an occasional outage at some of the sites, but it's been very short term. The truck's just around the corner and it's on its way.
Tasport says the first oil tanker since the crash is expected to arrive in Devonport in the first week of April, while the process to remove the wrecks is due to begin in the next few weeks and is likely to be one of the most complex salvage operations undertaken in the country in recent years. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
Fire crews have been called to an incident in an Invermay backyard. The TFS received a call about the blaze around 5:30 this afternoon, sending 2 units to extinguish it. The fire was impacting on a nearby shed. However, a house on the Oswald Street property was unharmed. Hobart City Council's proposed ban on granting permits to houses for short stay accommodation has taken another step forward. The council voting in favour of the motion at a meeting last night. The Lord Mayor also taking a swipe at Airbnb's claim that just 1% of homes in the city are used for short-term stays.
They're talking about 1% of Greater Hobart. There's 6,500 rental properties in our municipality, and about 9% of those have been calculated to be in short stay accommodation.
The measure will now go out for public consultation from Saturday for 28 days. 47 more bus routes have been cancelled today on the second day of the government's free service. Metro cancelled almost 90 routes statewide yesterday due to driver shortages and COVID-related implications. The state government announced last week it would offer free rides to commuters for 5 weeks. Well, here's one of the state's regular visitors proving home is never far away. This southern elephant seal, born and raised under the state's marine conservation program, has been spotted once again on Tasmanian shores. Released in 2020, the mammal known as Neil the seal is equipped with a tracking device monitoring behaviour and movement. And experts are happy with his progress, the seal growing in size and could weigh up to 4 tonnes in the future.
North Melbourne's Taron Thomas is set for a lengthy stint on the sidelines. The Roos say he's going to miss up to 8 weeks with an internal injury after a brutal hit in Sunday's win over West Coast. Just another blow to the Roos' already depleted midfield. He left a Melbourne hospital today after spending the past 2 nights under care. Locally, the SFL launched its 2022 season today ahead of the opening round this weekend. While last year's grand finalists Cygnet and Huonville remain strong, the league is confident some of the weaker sides will be more competitive.
It was all smiles and laughter this morning, but come Saturday afternoon, it will be down to business. The SFL rolling back into action for another year after a long pre-season. Reigning premiers Cygnet relishing their premiership status.
Winning last year, we sort of become the hunted, which sort of means that everyone puts a bit of a target on our backs, which is good.
The Port's pre-season a mixed one, overcoming a slow start.
There was a bit of complacency within the group, but we identified that pretty early and tried to kick that out the door, and then, from then onwards, it's been good.
The league also happy with how things are looking. Confident the horror blowouts from last year won't be repeated.
I'm excited about the prospect of Surrey, Brighton and Claremont. Those 3 clubs have been down towards the bottom over the last few years, but they've recruited well.
Huonville also hopeful of going one better in 2022. The runners-up also have a new coach, with loving the game a key focus.
Definitely revitalised the group, just like a sense of freedom a bit more within the playing group, a lot more relaxed.
Brighton secured the league's biggest coup, with former Glenorchy mentor Paul Kennedy taking the reins. The coach already making an impact at the Robins.
The way he can communicate to the group and instill that confidence in the boys, it's a huge factor.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Cricket Tasmania says no one has spoken to Justin Langer about taking charge of the Hobart Hurricanes men's side. News Corp is reporting the former national head coach had been sounded out for the position, with informal discussions taking place. Langer has form in the Big Bash, previously leading the Perth Scorchers to 3 titles. The Hurricanes are in the market for a new coach following the resignation of Adam Griffith earlier this year. To hockey, and Tasmania's men's and women's Premier League competition is heating up. Canterbury came out on top in the men's, demolishing Diamondbacks in a 6-0 win. Tyler McDonald, Sam McCulloch and James Sexton sharing the spotlight with 2 goals each.
Our coach is very defensively minded, so we're starting from the back, trying to get that really strong, the new shape come into play, and then we'll move up the park.
Roles were reversed in the Women's League as the Diamondbacks edged out Canterbury. Their new goalkeeper instrumental in the win, making multiple saves against her former club in the first 2 quarters.
We made sure to work from the back as well, always bring it back out, which was very impressive from our side.
Canterbury host Derwent this weekend, while Diamondbacks will face OHA.
Good evening. 25 was the state's top in Launceston today, Hobart 24, 22 in Burnie and a top of 21 in Devonport, 23 on Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches 22 and 18 in Strawn. The satellite pictures show cloud over the Bass Strait is associated with a line of convergence, with cloud extended across much of the state during the day. An unstable air mass of middle-level cloud extending over much of WA, cloud cover over New South Wales with an intense low off the coast, generating thunderstorms, and a frontal cloud band can be seen over the Southern Ocean. Tomorrow we see a series of lows and troughs lying over Western Australia, extending across the top end, while a cold front has moved southeast of Tasmania and a high continues south of WA. Southwest to southeasterly winds of 15 to 20 knots, reaching up to 30 knots about the northwest and east. Southwesterly swells increasing to 3 to 4 metres in the west and south during the day. And a strong wind warning is in place for the far northwest coast, Banks Strait and the Franklin Sound, as well as east of Flinders Island and the upper and lower east coast. A shower or 2 developing in Hobart tomorrow, 16 in Geeveston, Bothwell showers developing. Partly cloudy in Launceston, Devonport 21 and 20 in Cressy. Partly cloudy in Burnie, morning showers for Strawn and 19 for Curry. Cloudy conditions for St Helens, Swansea 18 and a shower or 2 in Orford. And the UV remains at a moderate high. Light showers possible about the southeast and central areas of the state on Thursday, 15 in Hobart. Similar conditions on Friday with southwest to southeasterly winds, 19 in Launceston. And Saturday will also see light showers about the southeast and central areas. Mostly sunny in Cairns tomorrow, Sydney 22, a shower or 2 developing in Melbourne and a top of 33 in Darwin. And right now it's cloudy in Hobart and 17, Launceston clear in 20 and also clear in Devonport and 18, and that's all for this evening, Kim.
Thank you very much, Victoria, and that is all your news for now. We'll be back later with updates. Thanks for your company this evening. For now, good night.